Hey, this is Duncan. I'm with the Insight Group at Alight Analytics, and today we're going to talk through how to build in some custom color palettes in Tableau. Tableau has a ton of great custom color palettes built in, but maybe you want to use a specific set of colors that represent your branding, or maybe you have a favorite color or a group of colors that you'd like to incorporate in a visualization that aren't in this kind of standard list of color palettes baked into Tableau. There is a way to do this. It's just not in the Tableau interface itself. So to add a custom color palette, we're going to use the preferences.tps file. This is a file that's going to be in the My Tableau repository folder, which should be in your Documents folder if you have Tableau installed on your computer. Preferences.tps is a standard XML file that you can open with any text editor, whether that be Notepad, Notepad++, or text edit. I'm going to open this with Atom. As I mentioned, it's an XML file, but the good news is you don't need to know how to do any sort of coding or write code to add a color palette to this. If you're opening your preferences.tps file for the first time, this is what it's going to look like. Just have your XML version here, and then an opening and closing workbook tag. Within that workbook tag, we're going to create two new tags. One is an opening preferences tag, and the other is just a closing preferences tag. And this is where we're going to put our color palettes in. So we've got our preferences opening and closing tag. And within these two, we'll just paste a color palette in there. This is one that I've already created for this video. So the first thing you'll see, we have an opening and a closing color palette tag. In the opening tag, we're also going to specify a name for our color palette, which I'll call My Custom Color Palette, and then a color palette type. And I'll get into what the different types are in just a moment. So within the actual color palette opening and closing tags, we have specific tags for our colors. So each color that we want to include in this color palette, we'll just insert an opening color tag and a closing color tag. Within those, you'll see a 6-digit hex code. So these hex codes are kind of standard as far as using colors digitally. If you have a brand or brand guidelines that you're trying to adhere to, you probably already have these hex codes. If not, there are a number of great tools online that will help you find colors that complement one another. A couple of my favorites are Adobe's Color Tool and colors.co. We can include links to both of those in the video description. So I've added 5 colors here to my color palette. These are just 5 colors, kind of in a green to yellow gradient that I like a lot. So now that I've actually created my color palette, named it, given it a type, and inserted each one of the individual colors, I'll just save this file. And if I open Tableau, I can edit my colors. When I select the color palette drop down, we'll see it right there. My custom color palette is available for me to use. One last thing, you may have noticed earlier I mentioned the color palette type. There are 3 different types of custom color palettes you can create. One is regular. This means we provide a number of colors to Tableau, and we have each one of these colors available to us in that palette. There are 2 other types. One is sequential, which provides a gradient of one color from light to dark. And then the other is called divergent, which provides a gradient between 2 colors. So there we have it. That's how to create a custom color palette in Tableau. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.